Cape Verde lost 3-2 against Argentina, but by the time the team left the World Cup, American travel searches for the country had jumped by more than 800%. This is how a nation of barely 500,000 people turned a football defeat into an economic opportunity. On paper, Cape Verde had no business pushing Argentina that far. Argentina had Lionel Messi, the defending world champion, and a squad built to win the tournament. Cape Verde was playing in its first World Cup, representing a country smaller than many major cities. Cape Verde also had a 40-year-old goalkeeper named Vozinha, refusing to let the story end. He had already become one of the faces of the tournament after shutting out Spain. Against Argentina, he kept doing it. Save after save. He frustrated one of the most talented attacks in football. Late in regulation, he even denied another Messi free kick and helped drag the match into extra time. And Cape Verde did not simply survive, it fought back. Argentina took the lead and Cape Verde equalized. Argentina scored again and Cape Verde equalized again. For more than 100 minutes, the smallest country ever to reach the Men's World Cup knockout stage made the defending champions fight for everything. Only a late own goal finally ended the run, 3-2. Cape Verde did not arrive at that match by accident. Its tournament began against Spain, one of the strongest teams in the world. Spain controlled the ball, created chances, and expected to win comfortably. Cape Verde held them to a scoreless draw. Then came Uruguay. Cape Verde scored twice and earned another draw against a former world champion. Finally, a scoreless result against Saudi Arabia was enough to send the country into the knockout stage of its first World Cup. 3 group games, 3 draws, still unbeaten. Then came Argentina, Messi, extra time, and the moment the rest of the world finally understood that Cape Verde was not there simply to participate. The team had turned itself into one of the tournament's best stories. And every save, every equalizer, and every celebration was doing something that a normal tourism campaign struggles to do. It made people care first and search second. While the players were fighting Argentina, millions of viewers were learning the country's name. Expedia reported that travel searches from the United States increased by more than 800%. TUI said its own searches doubled. Interest from several other markets also surged. That is bigger than a viral football moment. For Cape Verde, that is potential business. Most countries spend millions trying to convince people to notice them. They buy advertisements showing beaches, resorts, sunshine, and perfect blue water. But those advertisements are easy to ignore because every destination is selling a similar image. Cape Verde received something more powerful. The football created the emotion. The country received the advertisement. People did not share Cape Verde's highlights because they were planning a holiday. They shared them because the team had earned their attention. Then, some of those viewers searched for the country, discovered the island, saw the beaches, and started considering a trip. Cape Verde did not win the World Cup, but it won something a country this small could never afford to purchase at this scale: the attention of the world. Now comes the more difficult question. What is that attention actually worth? Officially called Cabo Verde, the country is a chain of 10 islands in the Atlantic Ocean, roughly 500 kilometers west of Africa. Tourism is already one of its main economic engines. It produces roughly 1/4 of the economy, and in 2024, the country's hotels welcomed around 1.18 million guests. That is more than twice Cape Verde's own population. So the World Cup did not create tourism there. Cape Verde already had the resorts, the beaches, and the visitors. What the tournament changed was the size of the audience. Most visitors still come from a relatively small group of European countries. The United States represents only a tiny share of foreign hotel guests. So when American travel searches suddenly rise by more than 800%, that is not just an impressive number. It is a possible new customer market opening in real time. In the short term, Cape Verde should benefit. More searches can become more bookings. Airlines and travel companies now have evidence of demand. TUI is reportedly considering additional flights and a new branded hotel on Boa Vista. More seats and more rooms would make it easier for interested travelers to actually visit. Sal and Boa Vista will probably receive the first and largest gains. They already have the airports, the international resorts, and most of the country's tourism infrastructure. But a search is not a booking, and even when somebody books the trip, Cape Verde does not automatically keep the money. Picture one tourist buying a $2,000 all-inclusive holiday. The booking goes through a foreign travel company. The flight is operated by a foreign airline. The resort belongs to an international chain. The food, transportation, and activities are bundled before the tourist even lands. That person can spend an entire week in Cape Verde, while surprisingly little of the $2,000 reaches a local restaurant, guide, driver, or independently owned hotel. Economists call this leakage. Tourist arrives, the money does not fully stay. A 2019 estimate put average tourist spending in Cape Verde at around 41 euros per day. In the Canary Islands, it was 238 euros. The comparison is older and the destinations are not identical, but the gap exposes the real problem. A country can report record visitor numbers while local businesses capture only a small portion of what those visitors spend. The industry is also geographically concentrated. Roughly 80% of hotel stays happen on only 2 islands, Sal and Boa Vista. Cape Verde has 10 islands, but most visitors barely leave the same 2. That means the World Cup can make the entire country more famous, while most of the new money still flows through the same resorts, the same foreign operators, and the same places that were already benefiting. That is the real business question. Not whether more tourists will come, but who gets paid when they do. My forecast is that Cape Verde receives a genuine short-term tourism boost. Searches should create additional bookings. Flight capacity will grow. Hotel investment will continue. Tourism revenue should rise, with Sal and Boa Vista benefiting first. But that is the most likely outcome, not necessarily the best outcome. The best case scenario is that Cape Verde uses this attention to build a more connected and locally valuable tourism economy. That means reliable flights and ferries between the islands. It means local hotels that appear when travelers search. It means restaurants, guides, drivers, and experiences that are simple to discover and book before a visitor arrives. Instead of forcing the highest possible number of tourists onto the same 2 islands, Cape Verde could keep more value from every visitor and distribute that value across more of the country. The weaker scenario is that the attention fades. Cape Verde trends for several weeks, foreign resort operators absorb most of the new demand, and unreliable inter-island transportation prevents the benefits from spreading. The World Bank has already warned that expensive and unreliable transportation between the islands is restricting tourism diversification and concentrating activity in Sal and Boa Vista. So Cape Verde's biggest challenge is no longer getting noticed. Vozinha and the football team already handled that part. The challenge is building an economy capable of capturing the attention they created. Cape Verde did not need to beat Argentina for this World Cup to matter. It made the defending champions fight for every minute. It made millions of viewers learn the country's name, and it gave its tourism industry a level of exposure that would have been almost impossible to buy. That is a win, but it is an opportunity, not a payout. The next result will not appear on a scoreboard. It will appear in bookings, local businesses, new flight routes, and how much tourist money stays inside the country. Cape Verde's World Cup is over. Its economic match is just beginning. And be honest, before this tournament, had you ever considered visiting Cape Verde?